the 4v5 matchup here. Paul Muller, only 2 losses this tournament, but one of them was to Mazuroski already. Paul's kept a 7. Stefan keeps his 7. We'll see. Now he's going to put it back.
Got a mulligan for that ley line. More likely it was a non-functional hand. I don't think. With 2 copies of ley line, that would be quite dusty to mulligan for those.
Well, I'll be honest here. If I'm on the draw with Burn and there's not an Eidolon and there's not a ley line, I'm not very interested in keeping my 7.
Yeah. If there's a couple effects that are burn spells that can target a creature, they would probably have to be supplemented by Goblin Guides and Swift Spears. So if I don't have a 1-drop, I don't have those 2 things that you mentioned, even with things that target creatures, it's probably not enough. So you either want Eidolon by itself with a good mix of lands and spells is probably enough. Ley line with a good mix of lands and spells is probably enough. Aggressive creature plus targeted or removal is probably enough. But if you don't check any of those boxes, it's pretty clearly a mulligan.
He's going to try again on 6 here. We have our second match result in, and our first semifinal is set 2-0. Dylan Hand on Humans defeats Brendan Klein, knocking the Hardened Scales deck out of the tournament, which means we're going to have Dylan Hand facing off against Ben Lau in the semifinals.
Yeah, Dylan Hand, I talked to him a bit before the top 8. He asked if he was Humans guy. I said, hey, you got to work a little hard to be Humans guy. He said, what do I got to do? Yeah, I keep getting these bad matchups in top 8. I said, well, you start winning the bad matchups, and you'll be Humans guy.
Be Humans guy.
He's on track.
He's 1 of 2 Humans guys in this top 8, both him and the 1 seed playing it. That's bad. He did win a bad matchup, so that's one step to being Humans guy.
Exactly.
So Stefan keeping on 6, no ley line. He does have a relic.
Yeah, pick that one up for turn here.
3 lands though in his opener. It's a little, and plus a relic is a
tough
one for Burn.
I would definitely lead on 1-drop creature over relic in this matchup because you start applying pressure. That matters a lot more. The relic as a 2-mana spell is, that's really where it's good.
Yeah, if he has a Goblin Guide or Monastery Swift Spear, I'd be pretty interested in here. But he does not. It's just Relic of Progenitus. Looks like his hand is Lightning. He has Lightning Helix and Searing Blaze, it looks like, to go with 2 more lands.
Yeah, so those are cards that answer Baral and Goblin Electromancer. A lot to like about those.
And Paul, not going to put anything in the graveyard for that relic just yet. Stefan actually draws a 2nd relic this turn.
I mean, they replace themselves. It's fine. Yeah. It's pretty strong hate against the Storm deck as well.
Lava Spike goes upstairs. Paul's to 17.
Yeah, when you combine that with the ability to destroy mana creatures, that's quite good.
Heads up play on Stefan. Even though Paul just has 2 lands, he doesn't want to commit that 2nd relic to the board. Just doesn't want to see a combo happen. Manamorphose for Paul. And immediately, Mazuroski exiles it away.
I mean, that's probably going to happen. I don't think he has priority right now.
I was thinking the same thing. He can't actually do that yet. Okay. He can now with 2nd Manamorphose.
Sure. Yeah, so it's going to hit one of these 2.
Correct. And land 3. And Paul looks like he's content just passing.
Yeah, he's just trying to set up his hand. It looks like he has found an Echoing Truth. Though it's tough to hit 2 Relic of Progenitus with that.
Sure.
The first one tends to exile itself in response.
Land 4 was the draw for Mazuroski. A bit heavy there. He still has 6 more points of burn in his hand. And then that 2nd relic.
And meanwhile, Paul's at 17.
Right.
Quite the healthy life total.
If you give Paul too much time, he'll win through Relic of Progenitus.
Right.
And on Stefan's side, here is that 2nd relic. Go ahead and tap 1 to clean out the graveyard, and then he'll pass back. Wouldn't be surprised on the end step to see one of these be converted for another card.
Right, and honestly, Paul's kind of hoping for that. It makes sense on the Stefan side because you want to actually get some action. He's not dealing nearly enough damage. But on Paul's side, Echoing Truth can't really deal with both relics anyway, so you want one of them to go away on its own.
So passes the turn, and we'll see Lightning Helix on end step. Stefan figuring he'll clean his own hand out of burn spells before he starts drawing new ones.
Yep.
Paul to 14.
And we'll see how long he clings to these relics. To me, it makes a lot of sense to maintain both as long as possible.
Skullcrack to draw that turn for Mazuroski.
And with this abundance of mana, definitely like keeping those relics open.
Paul will pass. Skullcrack puts Paul down to 11. At some point here, Paul's got to get worried. And if he's, I don't know if he's there's two ways Storm can be doing it. Either he doesn't have the combo, or he's waiting because he thinks he has more turns before he has to make a move. If it's the second, I feel like he's getting pushed to go time soon.
Right. Though, Stefan just with one card in hand naturally, if he's like bricks and just draws a bunch of lands, and which is Paul's kind of hoping for some combination of that and maybe out of frustration cracking the first relic. Just because with two relics, Paul probably has to have an answer to both individually.
Riftbolt suspended. Paul still draws. It's his 6th turn. A lot of rituals in hand. But is it enough?
Yeah, without using the graveyard, you need to be able to generate a ton of mana.
Right, you're looking for some mana creatures. But with that uncracked Wooded Foothills, the problem is that once Paul plays a mana creature, Stefan's going to Searing Blaze it.
Yeah. That is very bad for Paul.
Paul just passes. Things have gone from looking great for him to looking kind of scary as he drops down to 8. Stefan's going to draw here. Finds another land.
All right, that is what Paul wanted him to do. But he's still maintaining both the relics, which makes it really difficult for Paul to combo.
And Stefan not going to play that land 5. Doesn't really want to give the information away.
Yep.
Game of cat and mouse.
Once Paul is at 8, he kind of just has to start assuming that he doesn't have another turn.
Yeah.
His life total is very dangerously low.
Yeah, especially something where if Stefan end-step burn spells, cracks both relics, he'll probably draw into lethal burn.
Right. Yeah, once your opponent's low enough and you have this many lands on the battlefield, sure, taking the relic off his shield's down, but you probably just win the game.
Many cards, 7 or 8 in Paul Muller's hand.
Paul likely thinking about, what do I actually get to convert if this mana creature dies right away? And here is Goblin Electromancer. Stefan's cracking his fetch land in response. That Searing Blaze is coming at some point.
I think they're talking about where they are with priority, yes. Stefan doesn't have priority yet.
Right.
He's asking, are you doing this in response, or what's going on?
Right. A little bit of a does this resolve question, or, this is still on the stack.
Yeah, you can't just blaze it before Paul can play a spell. That's not...
He can resolve his shuffling. I'm not sure what the pause is there.
Sure.
You can finish shuffling your deck.
It's total pause. Red light.
Freeze time.
I have some confusion about priority here.
Yeah, it's certainly illegal to crack a fetch land in response to Goblin Electromancer being cast.
Sure. Yeah, what Paul's saying is you can't both put the basic into play and have the fetch land. Stefan's saying that's the one I'm going to find.
So there's nothing happening here that's of any consequence to the game. It seems like Stefan thinks he is cracking a fetch land once Goblin Electromancer has resolved, which you can't do. You have to wait for Paul to have priority and pass priority again, and I assume that Paul is casting another spell. So for all that it matters, Stefan can just crack the fetch land and target the Electromancer after the first spell is cast.
All right, desperate ritual from Paul. Stefan would like to respond by cracking a fetch land. Paul's now going to respond again. This is so we have desperate ritual on the stack, a fetch land activation on the stack above that, and now we may see another effect.
I was thinking about tapping blue mana there. He's had Echoing Truth in hand for a while. I don't know what that really does for him. He could Echoing Truth his Electromancer because Stefan has given away that he has Searing Blaze. You know,
Sure.
That is just the card in his hand. And if you bounce the Electromancer, Stefan won't be able to do 3 damage to you with that spell because your creature's not on the battlefield anymore. The land has not entered the battlefield yet.
And, you know, this is actually a bit of a punishment for Stefan not playing that second fetch land. He could fight further in this situation.
Right.
So we see Echoing Truth in response, targeting, I believe, a Relic of Progenitus. And they're both going to go back to Stefan's hand. So now the fetch land trigger resolves. A bit interested that Stefan was... Oh, okay, Stefan didn't want to tap out there. No, that... He had the extra mana. I kind of thought he'd popped that Relic of Progenitus on that.
Right. I don't know if he missed the interaction or what.
Here's Searing Blaze, however, as spell 4, targeting that Electromancer. Desperate Ritual still on the stack. Electromancer, Ritual, Echoing Truth, and now Searing Blaze. The 4 spells have been cast this game. Paul will go to 5 and lose his Goblin Electromancer.
He has a second mana creature.
Yeah.
He has enough mana to keep going.
3 red for Paul. It takes a pain to go to 4, making blue. Baral down to 2 red. That's 5 spells. This is a nice turn by Paul.
If he has a combo hand made, I mean, he's gotten through everything. He's somehow Echoing Truth those Relic of Progenitus. I'm really not sure what happened there.
Well, I'm not sure either, but what's happening here is Paul's starting to storm off. He's up to 4 red.
That's what I'm seeing.
Gonna Lightning Bolt Stefan down to 3 red. That means that we can't pass in Flames from here. Not without more rituals.
There's a Grape Shot. I don't know if he has enough. Is it 2 Grape Shots?
Grape Shot here. Okay, so Storm is for 8. Stefan's to 10. Is he 1 short? Oof. Yeah, another Grape Shot. It's almost there. Stefan's at 1. Paul's at 4.
Right, there's a lot of
pass. Okay.
So
Idle onto the Great Revel.
That blocks.
Yeah, but it also locks Stefan out of the game.
Yeah, you can't cast 4 spells.
Yeah, if you play Eidolon, what happens is we'll hang out for a million turns until Paul draws a red card.
Oh,
and Stefan draws Boros Charm off the Relic.
It had to be Boros Charm.
Whoa!
It's incredible.
And Stefan Mazuroski is going to go on to the semifinals. He hits his 4-outer there off the Relic.
Wow.
And what a finish.
Paul 1 point short, and it had to be Boros Charm.
And he worked so hard. Like, think about Paul's hand for a second. Not only was he 1 point short, he needed Stefan to play the Searing Blaze to even be 1 point short. He's 3 points short without that.
Right. Yeah, that's just extra Storm for 2 Grape Shots.
Yeah, Paul plays that masterfully. He just doesn't have the combo. He doesn't have a big enough Storm. He gets Stefan to commit extra, puts him down to 1, and is hit with a 4-outer on the way back. It's going to be Mazuroski in the semifinals.
Put that Boros Charm in a frame. That's
wow.
That card is precious.